Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Marina if you're new here, and today we are going to look at my goals for 2025 and see how we're doing. I haven't honestly looked at these goals since I made them in January, but it'll be kind of fun to see how I'm doing. If I've measured up and then see how I can align myself to these goals to remind myself this is what I want to be doing for the rest of 2025 and see if we can make it a good year. So if that interests you, grab a drink and let's get into it. So to start out, I do have all my goals written in this Sleepy St. Joseph book my sister gave me, which is just an inside joke, but I'll show you kind of the setup that I have. I have it all written here. It's very elaborate for me. I don't usually spell everything out in so much detail and categorize it, so this is new, so this is kind of fun. So to start out, I did also make a Pinterest inspiration board. Look at that really quick. It's giving very Christine Myers. She's the director who did all of the early 2000s movies with all the vibes, right? Parent Trap, Father of the Bride, all of that. We want to channel that energy. It's 90s, being present. I'm entering into my rom-com era where I am just going about my life, living my best life, and it's just regular life, but it's just feeling all the feels as you go through it, you know, being present with people, building lasting relationships, maybe meeting my person, you know, and just seeing everything with those rose-colored glasses and those classic jams in the background, really just making you feel your life is a movie. I feel like that's the vibe for this year. So you can see on the board lots of fun activities with friends, trips to the beach, leisurely activities, handsome men, cutie little house, all the vibes, really. Just a Christine Myers kind of year for me is the hope and dream, and I think we've achieved that to a degree. A Pinterest board gets me excited to look at. So looking at this mess of a goal chart, we are gonna start out with word of the year, and that is intentional. So I think the last couple of years have been kind of scattered for me. I'm just trying to establish myself in a new place and find a job and just get my bearings, moving across the country from Denver and overcoming tragedy. It takes a lot to just, you know, get it together and feel like, okay, we're good. We can really establish roots and create a rhythm for our life. So intentionality really makes sense for this year, and I think I have been more intentional about making friends and trying to go on dates and building relationships at work and putting the effort out at work and just getting to know the area a little bit and making sure to enjoy life with leisurely activities and quality time with people I love. And this is a special season, living at home with my dad and my sisters. I know I'll look back and cherish it. So yeah, just making the most of that time, going on walks together, eating dinners together, enjoying the weekends, you know, making that time is so important. And I know my future self will thank myself, my present self, for doing that. I think that is a great theme, and I think I have done that, and there is room for growth there because I feel like it is easy to get stressed and scattered and caught up in all the things. So it's a good reminder. I love that we're doing this. Okay, so the next thing is building that independent life again. I think I touched on that. We're moving here, like I stepped into my childhood life. This is where I grew up. I'm in my dad's house. I'm with family, which is not something I've done in my 20s, really. Living at home as an adult, this is a new experience, and I think I've had the independence before, and moving home I've struggled with finding space for that while also being present to my family. And it's a balance for sure, because being home when I'm with my family, and this has just been a theme my whole life, it's family time, right? Like when I'm with my family, it's family time. So living with family can be all encompassing, trends that way. So I'm trying to find the balance. I'm an adult. I need to have my own things going on outside of my family. I love them dearly and enjoy them so much, which is part of the problem, is because it's not like I get sick of them super easily. So it's a conscious effort and a sacrifice almost to make time for myself outside of that, but I do need to build my own life and my own world, and we're working on that, and it takes time. And I think as you get older, it gets harder and harder to make friends, and being single at this age is difficult because there's a lot of people who are married. So connecting with people who are in the same boat is the challenge, and it takes time. So I think, yeah, being intentional about that, taking the intentionality and adding it to the independence, I think those go hand in hand. So good on me in January for thinking this all through, because I do think these things still ring true for things that I need to work on. And I think with that, I listed out, okay, who do I want to be? And I listed a bunch of different traits. So just thinking about my ideal self, who do I want to show up in the world as? And this is kind of not even just like goals for the year, I guess. This is just goals for myself, and then we're just taking it a step further. So maybe this is kind of deep for this video, but hey, why not? First thing is I want to be responsible. I want to be a responsible person. I want to be on top of things, and I haven't always been that. I feel like in your 20s, you're kind of just flying by the seat of your pants, figuring life out, but I turned 30 this year, and I felt like it was important for me to just step up and be a little more responsible. Take care of those things that have just been in the background. We'll go into it in a little bit later, but yeah, investing, getting my retirement money from a job I used to do years ago, and that money's just been sitting there and I haven't transferred it and it's just in limbo. Like, why am I letting that just sit there? Like, stuff like that. Going to the doctor when I haven't gone in forever. Just being on top of adult things, you know what I'm saying? And holy, I want to be a holy person. So I want to love Jesus, love others, that be a priority. Letting God be the center of my life and not being distracted by all the things that life can distract us with. So being centered, and then being confident in myself, confident in my abilities. I think trusting my gut has been something that I have previously had struggled with, but I think in my 30s, I want to trust myself, trust my own judgment, and trust my gut, and just have that confidence and exude confidence wherever life takes me. And I know that just doesn't happen overnight, and that comes from experience, right? And so I think part of that is doing new things and pushing myself and challenging myself and trusting myself and having trust in God and my ability. The next thing is fearless. I tend to be a worrywart and a cautious person. I don't think I can change my whole personality and become reckless. And I don't think fearless and reckless are the same thing, but fearless in that, like, something is hard, something is intimidating, but I'll still choose to do it if it's something I need to do or want to do. So that is something, trying new things, being the worst person at something just to learn it, you know, having that confidence to be fearless and to fail. We need to work on that. I love that. And then being authentic. I think it's so easy to be fake and to be a people pleaser, and being a middle child, I am prone to be a people pleaser, to making sure everyone's happy and comfortable and not wanting to rock the boat by having a disagreement or a different view or whatever. So I think being more authentic to myself, not that I'm not an authentic person or a fake, but just, you know, not apologizing for how I feel about something, and to be more communicative about that and not afraid. Fearless and confident and authentic. I think those all go together. And then the last one is I want to be the role model I wish I had in my 20s. I feel like, and YouTube kind of plays into this, I feel like there hasn't been a lot of people who were inspiring me in my 20s. When I thought of role models, there weren't really any. A lot of them were like married women who had tons of children, which is not something I can relate to. So I think I want to be the role model I wish I had, who has all these character traits that I just listed off, but someone who's authentic, living their life, isn't cookie cutter or trying to fit the mold. I think being a Catholic and being a single woman in the working world isn't just really common, and it's not represented in a diverse way. There's Christian women in their 20s who are single are not represented in a diverse way. They all seem kind of similar online from my interpretation, and I just feel like that didn't resonate with me, and I didn't want to be just like any other Catholic woman. Not that there's anything wrong with them. They could inspire others, and that's great. But I think showing up as yourself, your own personality, your own interests, your own style, your own viewpoint, right? Everyone has their own viewpoint, but living in the world, having a 9-to-5 and a career, and trying to soak in the beauty of life and living it to the best of my ability. That's what I want to do. But I say my role models, and I have these listed here, I guess, to just inspire me stepping into becoming the role model that I wanted in my 20s is Jen Fultweiler. I discovered her recently, and she's just so down to earth and just so real, and I kind of love how her life is a dumpster fire. It's relatable, and it's not too polished. She's not your quintessential Catholic woman. She comes from a different background, isn't cradle Catholic, isn't, you know, holier than thou. She really is the real deal, and I love that, and I love how it's just real life. And then Alana Davison, she's just a cool chick. She's not Catholic, she's not religious, but I just like how she lives her life, and she's just very confident and chic. I love her style, and her lifestyle is very aspirational, and how she shows up online, she's very much herself. So I guess from a YouTube online presence perspective, I like how she represents herself well, and she's never like negative, always trying to be upbeat and positive and inspirational and aspirational, and I think that's great. That kind of goes over who I'm hoping to be, and I think that trickles into all these categories that we're going to talk about. Keeping the theme of being intentional and refinding my independence, let's move into what I've got for these little stickies. So I've broken it into 5 categories here. I have relational goals, business goals, we'll talk about that, health goals, fun and travel, and financial goals, and spiritual goals. I don't know where that guy went. Let's jump into it. So for relational goals, as I mentioned, I moved to Philly a little over 2 years ago, but the first year was just coming off of some trauma. I won't go into that today, but maybe another time for another video. So yeah, it took me a little bit to get on my feet, but I grew up here, but I don't have that many connections from growing up. It's a lot of like childhood family friends. I have one friend from high school that I keep in touch with. Yeah, so I'm basically starting from ground zero as far as making friends. So a relational goal was to make 1 or 2 best friends in PA. So Bethany, who's my childhood bestie, I would count her as 1, and I did make this new friend Lauren. So we're 1 to 2. We are doing good here in this category, and that's been a blessing. And she's in the same town as me, so very ideal, because PA, I don't know if you're familiar, the Philadelphia suburbs are much more spread out than what I'm used to. Denver, everything was very close, so it was easy to make a lot of friends. But I'm in the burbs where there's not as many young single people, so it is more of a challenge to meet people who are in the same boat, who are free to hang. So grateful to have some 2 good ones in that category, because that was something I was really struggling with. It's hard to make friends, and it's good to have friends, and as I'm the theme of being more independent, you need people to hang out with, so we're doing good there. In this category of relational, I also have keeping up with my long distance friends. So my friends in Denver, my best friend in St. Louis, my friend Grace in Virginia. So yeah, I talk to Jacinta at least once a month, which is great. She has kids, so she's not as readily available. And then my Denver friends, I saw them when I was out in Denver in April, and then we text here and there and do voice memos, so that's been good. And then my friend Grace, I've seen her twice, so I'd say I'm doing pretty good in this category. I really want to do a trip with my Denver girlfriends for my 30th birthday. We're all turning 30, we're all single, and I would really love to do a fun trip. It's just a matter of wrangling all the people together and finding a time that works for everybody. We'll see. That hasn't happened yet. Will it happen? I would love for it to happen, and that's something maybe I need to put more energy into. So this is good. We're checking in, and we can recalibrate. So relational, continuing in this category, I have talked to Denver fam every month. I think I've been doing pretty good with this. My brother Joe I talk to at least once a month. My brother Meg, not as much. And then as far as just, getting out and about, we have going to 3 social events every month. And I will note, under my dreams for the year, there's not many things there at this point, but one of them is meeting my spouse, and I mentioned this earlier. So I don't have on here like a certain amount of dates I need to be going on, but I do have going to social events 3 times a month, and that's just to get out there. I don't have a quota for how many dates I need to go on or being online, because I've found, I don't know, it's stressful, and I kind of just have to go with what I'm feeling in my gut. I'll link above my video on my experience with dating, so that might, if you're interested in that, kind of talks about my experience and how I'm going about it. I have a video on that as well. There's a reason why there isn't like a hard goal on this, because it's such a tough thing to just quantify, and it is very emotionally draining. So you kind of have to go with how you're feeling, you know? Okay, so moving on to the interesting business goal. So at the beginning of the year, my sister and my brothers and I, we had started a business. It was an online Italian food grocery store, and we were getting bulk items. So like an Italian Costco, essentially online, affordable bulk Italian imported foods with the European standard, because we're food obsessed and we wanted food that was healthy with the European standard, and that food makes us feel better, yada, yada, yada. You get it. But none of us had time. We all have full-time jobs. So that didn't pan out, and we all decided it was just too much. I know, sad, womp, but yeah, so those goals can be trashed. Yeah, they can be trashed. Sad, but you know what? We move on, we pivot. It's part of life, right? Stepping into the financial goals, kind of going with the theme of being more responsible, and on top of things and being generous, right? You have to be financially in a good spot. So my financial goal was saving $55,000 for the year. I am very close to doing that. So, and depending on how you look at it, I've already done that. So I think I could have pushed myself a little bit more in this category. But I'm proud of myself, because I have lived my life, done some trips, worked hard, and still have been able to save. So that's been great. And within that category, start investing. So outside of my retirement, Roth IRA, and work retirement and Roth IRA, I want to start investing in a brokerage account and buying some ETFs. So I started doing that, which is really exciting for the first time. I wanted to do that before I turned 30, and I managed to do it. Is it much? No. But is it progress? Yeah. Progress is progress. And compounding interest is your friend. I'm not a financial expert, so I'm not going to go into it, but a little pat on the back for making that happen. Yay me. Proud of myself. Oh, here's another goal I missed. Okay. Last one was like increasing my income. I mean, I got a raise last year, so a promotion. So like, that's ambitious here. If I get a new job, we'll see at the end of the year. I'm not looking to switch jobs, but if a juicy offer comes my way, that might tempt me, you know? So we'll see what happens with that. I'll let you know at the end of the year, but that might be unrealistic. Wishful thinking. And I met my goals, so that's all we need. So here I have my spiritual goals. I almost missed this. The sticky note method maybe isn't ideal, but you know, this is my first time around, so we'll learn from my mistakes. So for this one, I wanted to read one spiritual book. Am I on track for that? A few chapters in. Could finish. Who knows? Getting spiritual director. LOL. I tried that. I didn't like the lady. I don't know, I felt it to be very uncomfortable on the phone. And there's just like a lot of awkward silence, and I get maybe that's part of the method, but it made me uncomfortable. I don't know. I'm not the most vulnerable person naturally, so it's just really uncomfy for me. Maybe we just need a new spiritual director. But it took me so much effort just to find this lady, so maybe we'll try again next year. Adoration once a week. I have managed to do that. That's been great. Rosary 3 times a week. I say my rosary when I go to work, so 3 times a week. Great hack, just habit stack. One retreat, haven't done that yet. I feel like there's a lack of Catholic retreats for adults, single adults. That's just, there needs to be more of them. If you know of any, let me know in the comments. I don't want to be traveling for a million miles away. I don't want to be discerning religious life. That's not where I'm at. So give me some options in the comments. Daily prayer, I do that. And then volunteer monthly. I haven't done that. I haven't been good at volunteering. It hasn't been something I do. I need to like sign up, so it's like I show up. Oh, I did pray in front of the abortion clinic. That is one thing, but it's not part of my weekly or monthly habits. And I need to implement that because there's no excuse. Okay, so that's the spiritual goals. I think we did pretty good there. Did I challenge myself very much? No. The spiritual director was a challenge and it proved to not be for me. So now we need to find someone new. But overall, little growth. Fun and travel. Go to the beach 4 times. I have 4 times already booked. I went once already. I have next week and then 2 other trips. So 4 times. That's pretty good, I'd say. Beach getaway with friends. I did do a beach getaway with my friend Grace to Chincoteague Island. I'll link that as well. But I think I'm talking about my 30-year-old birthday trip with my Denver gals and hoping to go to the beach with them. TBD. I wanted to go to Denver to visit fam 3 times. I went once so far, so 3 could happen. It's unlikely though because it's not gonna happen this summer, and twice in the fall seems like a lot, so we'll see. Take a class, I haven't done that. I should do that, do something fun. Go to the city once a month, so Philadelphia I think is the city I'm referring to, and I think I have done that almost every month, so that's been good. Start posting on Instagram or social a few days a week. I've been posting on YouTube, so hey, not bad. And then as far as health goals, being more responsible. Haven't gone to the doctor in a few years, you know, I feel fine so I don't go, but you know, you never know. And there's been some health scares in my family, health issues, so I'm like, okay girl, you need to get on it. I found out my brother has a heart condition. I'm like, okay, I gotta make sure I don't have the same heart condition because it's genetic and blah, blah, blah. So I got tested for that. I went to the dentist. That was on here. I haven't gone in years. Don't judge me, okay? Don't judge me. I didn't have insurance. Good insurance for a little while there. I saw my general practitioner, got my blood work. We're doing good. And exercising 3 days a week. I have been doing that as well. We pretty much covered everything here. Have I met my person? No. Have I bought a house? No. That goal has changed. I think overall, not bad so far. 6 months in, halfway through mark, I think we're doing pretty good. I think there are some things that I need to get back on track with, I will say. And some things I've dropped intentionally, like the house goal. That wasn't on any of those specific categories, but it was an overall dream for the year. So there was my husband, a house, and the business. So we dropped the business and we briefly touched on that, us not having time to run a business on the side. Logistically just wasn't realistic and not a priority with where we're at in life. And then buying a house, I realized I'm gonna need a new car and I need to save for that because I don't want car payments. That's just a personal financial choice. So we are going to be putting our finances and our energy towards saving for that. And the housing market, they say it's gonna drop. So maybe in a few years when the prices go down a little bit, the interest rates are more appealing. And I have a better sense of like where I want to be. I feel like I'm in an interesting transitional period in my life. So I don't know if I'm gonna be in this town that I'm in right now, and I don't want to put myself into somewhere I need to live. So I think we're gonna take a break on that. And it's just a lot of work, and I feel like I don't have the bandwidth to put into repairs, and I don't have like the liquid cash to put into big repairs or unexpected expenses. I don't want to drain my bank account just so that I can say I own a house. I do want a house at some point, but I want to be in a spot where it feels very comfortable and not a stretch financially. So I dropped those big goals. And then finding my husband, you know, that's kind of out of my control. I can put in more work into getting out there. As I mentioned, I will link below, and I linked above before, my approach to dating, but I do need to get back at it. And I did mention as one of my relational goals going to social events 3 times a month, and I haven't been doing that the last couple months. I have been busy, but I also just wanted a break, especially with the Catholic young adult scene specifically, just because I was interested in this guy and I see him in all these events and he showed interest and basically said he liked me and then didn't do anything about it, and he's just at everything, and I just, you know, we had a weird interaction where it just really just needed a break. You know what I'm saying? I needed a break. So we took a break, but I think it's time to get back into it. So we'll hopefully start doing those 2 to 3 plus events a month just to get in the mix and be meeting people in person. And then I am trying to talk to people online to just have that door open and give Jesus all the avenues to make it happen. With that, I need to do better. And then as far as financial, I think we need to push myself a little bit. I've already met my financial savings goal for the year. I think we're gonna push it to 60K. I think that's a good spot, 60K in my Vanguard account. This is more of a note for myself because you guys don't know the whole layout of all my finances, and so I think that's a good push, a good challenge for myself. And then I need to follow up with my friends and get in contact and start planning the girls' trip for our 30s. I think, 30s is a big deal and I need to make that a priority. It's just a matter of I don't know if that's as much a priority for them, and it is a big financial, decision. So I get it if they don't want to do it. So I just need to really, follow up with that and see if we can make that happen. And if not, that's okay. But it would be nice. It would be fun. Because I feel like life is short, and to be in this season together to celebrate where we're at would be special. So yeah, but overall I think I've done pretty well so far, and I'm proud of how the year is shaken out. I do think another thing I need to work on is finding fun activities and investing in those. I'm so bad at pulling the trigger. As I said earlier, I'm practical, I'm a little frugal, and so, spending the $200-300 on a fun class, on an activity I haven't done before, is kind of hard for me to pull the trigger on. But I should do it because life is short, and this is the season where unfortunately it is all about me. Not that I should be self-centered, but I should treat myself because I am not financially responsible for anybody else. So, you're only young once, and I think those things would bring life and meet new people, and again would feed into having more independence and freedom and just, intentionality and fullness of life. So yeah, I should do that as well. But let me know in the comments if any of these goals are something that you've been working on, and I'm curious your thoughts. If I should be pushing myself more, if you know of any retreats, interesting classes, I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I appreciate you all for being here and hanging out with me. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon.